Betrayal doesn't always crash into your life with thunder and lightning. Sometimes it creeps in quietly, hidden in laughter, stolen glances, and whispers behind champagne glasses. Tonight's story isn't just about infidelity. It's about what happens when a man who believed in love and forgiveness is pushed past his breaking point. What follows is a carefully crafted reckoning, one that left no room for excuses and no chance of escape. Welcome to Breakup Cheater, where shadows linger, secrets unravel, and every story cuts deeper than the last. If you crave tales of betrayal, revenge, and haunting truths, you're in the right place. I never thought of myself as a man who craved revenge. My life had always been built on principles of fairness, patience, and forgiveness. But those ideals, like the marriage I once believed in, collapsed in an instant one Saturday evening at a glittering party thrown by one of my wife's colleagues. For 8 years, Hannah and I had been married. Things weren't perfect. What marriage is? But I still believed we were partners, building a future side by side. When we arrived that night, she looked radiant in a silver cocktail dress that shimmered beneath the glow of the chandelier. Her laughter filled the room, her auburn hair catching the light with every toss of her head. As we walked in together, I felt a swell of pride that she was my wife. The party began innocently enough. Small talk, clinking glasses, polite laughter. Hannah introduced me to several co-workers, and that's when I met him, Daniel. Tall, broad-shouldered. His smile carried the arrogance of a man who expected the world to bend for him. Hannah had mentioned him before, the ambitious newcomer in her department. On the surface, he was charming, maybe even likable. But I couldn't ignore the way his eyes lingered on her a little too long. First I dismissed it. Surely I was imagining things. Surely Hannah, my wife, would never entertain it. But as the night went on, unease crawled deeper into my chest. I watched them laugh together. Not just casual laughter, but the kind that lingers, that sparkles with something private. Her cheeks flushed, not from champagne but from the warmth of his attention. I told myself not to be jealous. We had a history, a bond stronger than fleeting attraction. Or so I thought. And then I saw it. Returning from the bar with a drink, I caught sight of them by the balcony. Hannah was turned slightly away from me, laughing. Daniel's hand rested on the small of her back, lower than it should have been. In slow motion, I saw his fingers slip beneath the hem of her skirt. My heart stopped. But it wasn't just his audacity that destroyed me. It was her reaction. She didn't flinch. She didn't pull away. Instead, she tilted her head, biting her lip, the same way she had once done for me. My chest burned as though set on fire. Every instinct screamed at me to storm over, to smash his smug face into the floor. But I didn't. I forced myself to turn, to walk out of the party without a word, carrying with me the weight of betrayal and the seeds of a plan. The days that followed were a performance. I played the part of the oblivious husband while inside I unraveled. Hannah acted as though nothing had happened, chatting with me, making dinner, smiling at me as if she wasn't secretly betraying me. But I knew better. Confronting her outright would only earn me lies and excuses. I needed proof. It didn't take long. Hannah wasn't as careful as she thought. One evening while she showered, I glanced at her phone. A string of flirtatious messages with Daniel glared back at me. They weren't just words. They hinted at meetings, stolen hours, promises. It had been going on for months. The betrayal hit like a blade twisting in my chest, but instead of breaking me, it hardened me. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to fight blindly. I was going to dismantle everything she thought she could keep hidden. That's when I remembered Daniel's wife, Claire. I had met her briefly once, soft-spoken, graceful, undeserving of this cruelty. I reached out to her anonymously, sending just enough proof to stir suspicion. Soon, she replied, and an alliance was formed. Together we planned. The setup was simple but devastating. We would host a small dinner, a couple's night. Hannah was delighted at the idea. She thought it was my attempt to be more social. She even asked me to pick out the wine. The irony nearly made me laugh. When the evening arrived, I played the perfect host. Claire and I shared subtle glances across the table, bound by our shared betrayal. Hannah and Daniel, smug in their secrecy, whispered and smiled like two teenagers. Their arrogance only fueled me. Halfway through the evening, I excused myself to fetch dessert. That was the signal. Claire followed, while hidden cameras I had installed days earlier quietly recorded every stolen look, every hushed word from the dining room. When we returned, I raised my glass and proposed a toast to honesty, trust, and loyalty. Hannah hesitated, her smile faltering for the first time. Finally, I set my fork down and pulled out a remote. "There's something I'd like to share," I said. The television flickered on. A paused frame appeared. Hannah and Daniel on the balcony at the party. His hand creeping up her thigh. Hannah went pale. Daniel's smirk disappeared. "What is this?" Hannah whispered, her voice trembling. "Evidence," I replied coldly. "Press play." Silence consumed the room as the footage played. Every touch, every lingering glance, every betrayal captured in perfect detail. Claire's face hardened. She turned to Daniel, her voice sharp as glass. "You'll be hearing from my lawyer. And don't bother coming home." Daniel wilted in his chair, his bravado gone. Hannah broke down, sobbing, begging me to believe it was meaningless. She pleaded for another chance. But her words were hollow, falling like stones into a void where my love used to be. "This isn't just about what you did to me," I said, my voice steady. "It's about respect for yourself, for our marriage, for everything we built. And you threw it all away." I stood, leaving her trembling at the table. "Tomorrow, I'm filing for divorce. The papers are ready. And don't think you'll be walking away with anything more than what you came in with. I've been careful. Very careful." Her cries followed me, but I felt nothing. The love was gone, replaced by an icy finality. The fallout was swift. Claire divorced Daniel and exposed him publicly. His career crumbled, his reputation destroyed. Hannah tried calling, emailing, begging for forgiveness. I blocked it all. I sold the house, moved to a new city, started over. For the first time in years I felt free. Free of betrayal, free of illusions, free of the toxic weight I had carried. Revenge hadn't undone the pain, but it had restored balance. It had given me closure. And in the quiet of my new life, I found peace again. Trust, once broken, can never be restored to what it once was. In the ashes of betrayal, this man didn't just find heartbreak. He found clarity, strength, and the will to rebuild a life free from lies. Some say revenge doesn't heal. But sometimes it delivers the closure you need to finally walk away. What do you think? Was his plan justice? Or vengeance? Let us know in the comments below.